Hello, good morning, everyone. Yes, we're going to get some admin out of the way. And like George said, it's a pleasure to be here today. The call is going to be recorded. So, for those within your team that are unable to make it, they just internally go out and they can watch it in their own time. My name is Aaron. I am the head of sales for the Anker Solix X1. I joined with me today, Ian, if you could give a wave. He is my technical support director based for UK and Ireland. And towards the end of this call, I always think it's really important to have a guest speaker, and none other than Matthew and Catherine, if you could give a wave. And they are from Leaping Hair Renewables. And they will share their first experience of when they saw our product at Solar and Storage Live in London Excel, right through to how they got on with their first installation and future projects. So we're going to do a deep dive, into the Anker Solix. And I always think it's really healthy to start with who are we, where are we going, and what are we doing? All too often we see so many battery brands pop up on the market, and we always ask what the longevity is. So Anker Solix, for those who may or may not know, we're under an umbrella called Anker Innovations. Our products have been in the industry for over 14 years with pioneering charging technology. We are in the hands of 200 million users worldwide in 146 countries and regions. We own multiple brands under our umbrella, not just Anker Solix, some that you may know, which are very much a B2C-led product. So as an example, Eufy. So Eufy was our smart home indoor and outdoor security cameras, robotic vacuums. I have one of them, even though I do have a cleaner twice a week. And also we have now created the robotic lawnmowers. We also have Nebula, which is our portable projectors. We have Soundcore, where we were one of the first for noise cancellation headsets. Perfect if you're a runner or if you're in a crowded office, want to hear your surround sound, but still be on par with a meeting like today. And then we have other brands within our umbrella, which was Anker Solix. So Anker Solix started around 5 years ago, and we started firstly with our portable power systems. So we have, as a business, continued to grow since 2011. It started with the same guy that still founded the business, and his name is Sean, and we've got another gentleman called Stephen. What we do as a business is we are in the top 5% of tech businesses that continually invest into innovation. It cripples me to this day that you see so many brands on the market that do not continue to innovate, do not continue to listen to installers' needs, their requirements, and market trends. So as a business in 2024, we invested $295 million back into research and development. I think we've actually doubled that figure so far for 2025 already. We have a team of personnel in research and development, which is 2,672 people. That makes up 50% of our company. Then you've got myself, my team, which is marketing and sales, with just over a quarter, and then our operational team. So they're the ones who put our brand to market when it goes to launch. We've been known for industry-leading charging and battery technologies for the last 14 years. So we've created Anker Intelligence, and that creates an optimized strategy. It analyzes habits, weather conditions, and it predicts solar generation and energy usage. We then created Plug-in Power, which is actually our best-selling worldwide product, which is our balcony storage. Now, that is plug-in power, and that enables plug and play. It takes the elimination of the old battery compatibility and parallel systems and configurations. Infinity Power, which you find a lot in our portable power system. A lot of my Anker ambassadors that install my product on a day-by-day have these on their vans to charge up their tools. And that's Anker's proprietary technology, Infinity Power. It offers unprecedented lifespan and safety and reliability, and that's with using your product every day for a 10-year warranty reuse. And then finally, our modular power management system, what we're here to talk about today. And that's Anker's MPMS, and it boosts energy by up to 5% through individual power, optimization, and each module enabling independent charging and discharging. That's what we're here for today, is to make sure that we eliminate your lifestyle in terms of pressure, commissioning, and a quick install for the happy client. So some of the continuous Anker sort of innovations that we've created, as mentioned, the Anker Solix Solar Bank, as we've been voted the world's #1 plug and play battery storage. And then obviously we then created the Anker Solix PPS range, which as mentioned, a lot of my installers have on their van, the UV robotic vacuums and security cameras. And we've just recently launched our Soundcore Sleep A20. You can sleep with these, listen to your well music. I only have 3 hours sleep a night myself, so these are perfect. Brand mission. When we created Anker Solix, it was to enable everyone everywhere with energy independence and to power on a sustainable future together. So we had the camping series, the flex series, the effortless series, and the extreme series, which is all based on the X1. We also are very much about partnerships within the business, and this is how we can support your business in terms of marketing aspect, which we'll go through shortly. But for us, we have over 40 plus global channel partners with 700 plus certified installers within Europe. And we have complete coverage in countries Germany, UK, and Ireland with further expansions in multiple locations. We started the brand of the X1 first of all in America. We then seeded it into German market and also all the European countries. UK and Ireland were the last, but I like to feel like we saved the best to last in this business. What we're most proud of as a company is we have one of the lowest failure rates globally at 0.73%. As mentioned, we are the #1 in balcony storage, and that's because it has a high NPS. A 60% market share specifically within German European market and a 300% boosted order value. We've been the most trusted power station brand as a company across multiple districts. We have powered the boys' future from saving a family from storms. We've also very much given back for charity-led businesses. So we've supported Dolphin Islands, Turtle Islands, research and development, and also hurricane season across America to support when no one had electricity. Now, the main pain points for me when I look at so many brands on the market, 7 years ago, as a company, or as an industry, sorry, you were very limited in what you could install. That was because of shipping strikes, availability, and just product on the market in general. Brands have since innovated, but we have noticed when we developed the X1 3 pain points. So household storage floors. So traditional household storage systems have those messy components and the interaction is non-intuitive. There's exposed wiring, it often fails outdoors and long time commissioning process. We also saw a rapid race to the bottom with chaotic price management. So chaotic and public online pricing, which lowers the profits for distributors, retailers, and installers. To make you aware, as a company, we are the only brand globally that if you Googled the Anker Solix X1, you will not be able to see our pricing on e-commerce. This is the only product out of 250 products we've created in the last 14 years that is purely B2B, and we protect the margins for the installers. And then also, as mentioned, now you are like children in a sweet shop. You are overwhelmed with choices for consumers. What brand would suit your needs? What would be the product that would suit your criteria in terms of not only the end user's lifestyle, but also to make sure that your work is seamless and uninterrupted with long commissioning times and delays. So this is where the Anker Solix X1 was born. An energy storage system with a minimalist design, an energy booster, and a reliable guard. I always like to start at the top of our battery. So we're going to start with the power module. The power module is what we call it, but as most of you know, it is called the inverter. Now, this comprises of a 3.68, 5 kilowatt and 6 kilowatt power module inverter. It's double PV input. It has a built-in DC isolator. It has a low voltage startup, and it has an intuitive screen display. The screen display will show you your remaining battery state of charge. It will show you the overall daily power generation, grid connection status, whether it's on or off grid, internet connection status, and the home load consumption at time. Please note that this also has double PV input as mentioned. We do this also in a 3-phase element, which is 5, 8, 10, and 12. The systems can go up to 30 kilowatt hours in battery capacity to one inverter, and we'll go through those schematics shortly. So we looked at the all-in-one slim style design at the moment on the market. And we still notice you've got your hybrid inverter, you've got your backup box, the power module, exposed wiring, battery packs. We wanted to create 4 items into one system. So to the right hand side of this picture, you will see the power module, i.e. the inverter. Single phase inverters are a weight of 19 kg, and the 3-phase inverters are a weight of 30 kg. Then we have the battery modules in that picture. So the battery modules are all 5 kilowatt hour systems. So in theory, what you see on that picture there is a 15 kilowatt hour system with its inverter on top. But as mentioned, you can have up to 6 of these batteries to one inverter, to one power module, and then you can run parallel multiple times. So we'll go on to the next slide and we'll tell you how things are done in terms of design. So we are very and have always been very conscious led on design aspect of a business. So we are the thinnest battery worldwide at 15 centimeters. It's 40% thinner than the industrial average. The only way I can describe it, it is the length of the depth of my iPhone. We also decided to include an innovative energy optimizer, something that a lot of traditional batteries do not have on the market. So to the left-hand side, you see that traditional home battery, 15 kilowatt hours. Over the length of its warranty, it's only going to store that. It's going to do nothing more for you. When we decided to create our brand, we, on the right-hand side, within each individual battery pack, we put in energy optimizers per the pack. Now that allows up to 2,000 kilowatt hours more power. So the batteries can charge and discharge independently, and it eliminates that traditional barrel effect that we still see on this market today. There is also no pre-charging required, so the battery packs can auto equalize and it can be installed without pre-charging. And then we've got ultimate charging performance, and that's because the energy optimizer allows each battery to charge and discharge at maximum speed. Now, also what I will just say is we changed the mentality also with this system, that we put battery management systems in every battery pack. So most people would normally look at that traditional inverter is the brains, but actually our brains is within the actual battery packs itself, and we'll go through that in more details on how that can support for any abnormalities. So let's do an overview, what we've got in single phase so far. We have the 3.68, we have the 5 kilowatt and the 6 kilowatt. We do make 4.6, but it's not a calling for the UK market. We've got max efficiency, and we also have double PV input, weight at 19 kg, and all the battery modules you can have is 30 kilowatt hours, 6 of them to one inverter, and then run parallel. George, thank you. So let's have a look at some of the configurations. So when we first saw battery packs on the market and battery storage, it was very much that 3.68 5 kilowatt battery, job done. But now we're looking outside the box. You've got the air source heat pumps. You've got the EV chargers. God knows my child will not leave home at the age of 18. She leaves lights on everywhere. So the need for storage is so far greater than ever before. It's being in control of your own electricity and your own energy, how you use it, when you use it. These are some different configurations here. So first of all, just so you know, most of our marketing will showcase a 3-stack system. You can actually have it up to a 4-stack high at 20 kilowatt hours, but we advise that to be wall mountable, and we'll go through that in more detail. But if you needed the full 30, our suggestion would be a 3-stack of 15 and then another 3-stack of 15. So you've got a combined 30 kilowatt hour system. There are different configurations. All of this information, all of these schematics, we will give them to you at the end of this presentation. For us, it was about making sure that we can easily expand the battery and that you as an installer can keep a retaining client. So often we hear installers go, we've installed a product, that's it, won't see that client again. How wrong are they? For us, it's making sure that you retain that client. So for us, when we designed the product, making it modular of 5 kilowatt hours, obviously you would size accordingly on your projects with plans of something like open solar or PV Sol that we're located on. And, you know, the suggestion of offering that client even more storage in the future is far greater. And that's why we have a really cool fleet management portal. But what we also noticed is how do we expand for the single phase and for the 3-phase? If we could just go back, George, sorry. So basically what we do is we have 2 options. So in theory, what you could do with the single phase system is you could have up to 3 inverters. So you could maybe go with the highest inverter at 6 kilowatts, and you could have 3 of them in parallel, which would give you an overall 18 kilowatt inverter. And you can then have up to 90 kilowatt hours worth of battery storage capacity. When we launch a product to the UK or any market, we take our time. So what we do is we will launch the first phase, and then we'll, which would be the inverter, 30 kilowatt hour battery storage, EV chargers coming soon. And then what we will do towards the end of July, August, is we will then introduce the parallel functionality for single phase. Now, as we know, most industry in Europe is 3-phase. So we brought in the 3-phase system parallel features a lot sooner than the UK. So for the 3-phase systems, which is valid and starts in terms of their firmware back on the 30th of June or thereabouts, I'll find out the exact date and put it into an email, you can have up to 6 inverters. So 6 inverters would give you an overall total of 72 kilowatts with 180 kilowatt hours worth of battery capacity. Now, it is our firm beliefs as a business that we don't want to be commercial. What we want to do is very much support the residential market, and also we want to be extremely community led. So we want to be part of those projects that support rugby clubs, football clubs, parish churches, schools. Those are the projects that we want to help and integrate within community spirit. We also have seamless power backup. So again, it's educating the client. It's almost like we hear this all the time, where I suppose an end user, a customer, will think they're going to have this unlimited power supply. And we all both know that that's not necessarily the case. It's what's in the battery, and it's also being really cautious and clever with their time of use or what appliances they've got on within the house. You have the option, obviously, that if there's 15 kilowatt hours in the battery, it will supply that if there is a backup or a power backup needed. Or you could also support with a sub panel, and you could easily support for those critical loads. So just plan that project accordingly. But if you need any support, Ian, if you give us a wave, he will be able to support your projects. We also won an award for the award-winning user app for easy management and operation. So our smart energy management app completes 3 doors. Yours as the installer, the professional installer app, the end user, and us, where we get to see everything overall. And that's basic modes of self-consumption, time of use, you can go off-grid, with overlay modes of peak shaving and rapid battery charging. We also are launching in the next 5 weeks the Anker Solix V1, a really smart, similar design. Again, this can go into our ecosystem app. This will be a 7 kilowatt single phase. And we also then do have a 3-phase 22 kilowatt coming to launch about 5 weeks after that. We do things in stages as a business. It supports maximum self-sufficiency for green power charging. It charges the EVs with excess solar power. It's low cost and clean energy. We have max cost effectiveness, and that's scheduled charging. So you can charge your electric car based on your specific plans. You obviously have the max speed for rapid charging. And then finally, as a lot of the consumers know when they're buying into product, it's dynamic charging tariffs. Now, as a company, we see also often where I mentioned air source heat pumps. It's definitely a more focused thing with larger properties, newer build houses. As a company, we didn't really envisage seeing that as something in our technical portfolio, but we also didn't want to fall behind. We wanted to make sure that we could support those installers, such as yourself, that may either do air source heat pumps also or work alongside other companies. So we decided to make sure that we could integrate multiple manufacturers into our ecosystem. So if you have brands such as Daikin, Vaillant, Bosch, Nimbe, Mitsubishi, if they have an SG ready code, that manufacturing brand can fall into our ecosystem app. It gives you auto mode, which will boost self-consumption with smart heat pump activation during peak solar output. A scheduled mode, which specifies the operating hours to tailor the needs through the actual Anker app, or the manual mode, where you can turn it on or off. So just to confirm, in our application, you can have anything from our Anker Solix X1, seeing how the work and the magic happens, through to our EV charger, through to a different manufacturer of air source heat pump brand, even to the degree any portable power systems, like some of our engineers carry on their vans to charge up their tools, they can put that within their ecosystem app, which tells them how much charge they've got. If you're going camping at the weekend or onto a job on site at the weekend, it can tell you when to charge it up. Chemistry and technology are one of the biggest forefronts as a business, and that's why I think we're in the top 5% of technical investment companies. So we always create our product with simple, reliable system structures. So first of all, we have LFP chemistry, lithium iron phosphate, and that's from a top tier supplier. And versus most brands or some of the brands on the market, if they're not LFP, they may be something else like NMC, nickel, magnesium, cobalt, which is the battery depreciates a lot quicker. It's cobalt mined from a Congo. So with that in mind, we're very cautious about where our chemistry is made and come from our previous manufacturers. Now let's go to the auto isolation, the fun part. So when I mentioned we had battery management systems in every individual battery pack. Why did we do that? We hear all too often that installers will install a product, there will be a fault within a specific battery module, and it will shut down the entire system. Now, we all hear all too often again that when that installer has to go back to their distributor and has to then go to a manufacturer, we hear of horrific wait times of anything between 3 up to 12 weeks for a replacement. We all know as installers that it only takes one bad review to go onto Google or Trustpilot or Facebook and you lose 10 sales. How do we eliminate that for you as a company? So first of all, if there was any abnormality within our batteries, it would be flagged. It will be flagged on our app and your app as a person, your installer. And what it will do is it will shut down that battery module. It will shut down the battery module that's got the abnormality. And in the meantime, it will still support the additional battery packs in terms of storage for that client. But that's not where we stop from there. We want to still make sure that we get this resolved quickly for you. So we have a strong understanding with all of our distributors, and Segen is very much on board of this, of customer service, that we will replace that fault within 72 hours. No 3 weeks, no 12-week wait time. Let's nip it in the bud and act accordingly. The other thing for us is there is zero customer service money. There's zero money in customer service these days. We look at every industry. You know, you going back to site is time and expense taken out of your company. It delays maybe further projects for you to get on with. So you should bill us accordingly for that problem. Because if we educate and train you correctly in the first place, which we'll go on to, the only time that you should have to return if there is a fault with us, the manufacturer. And so we have a very strong RMA and billing process. It is seamlessly done. Ian, if you wave your hand, controls most of it and just tells me who we need to pay if there was an issue. The final thing is zero voltage DC shutdown for shock-free safety. We hear it all too often about live and loose ports, and so we've eliminated that. So we have shock-free safety as opposed to some companies on the market that have a live port and there is a shock risk, not just to you as installers, but also potentially to your end user, the client. We also designed within our system for it to work from -20 up to +55 at 100% depth for discharge. Now, we also on the 3-phase do from -25 up to +60. There's a 5% difference in the pair at 100% depth for discharge. And why is that? It's because we created, our Anker BMS technology. So it's more obtainable power during freezing temperature conditions. And also thermal boosting technology within each of our individual battery packs. Just to give you an understanding, to this day, since we launched the brand, we have probably got about 97% of product that is installed outside. It's installed down an alleyway, it's installed into a garage. I think there is literally a minute handful that are up in loft spaces still, which we as a company really don't agree with. Like, we want to ease your life. Who wants to be putting batteries up into a loft space these days? The design is there, so the wife is happy, and also the technology is in place to make sure that it can support in these freezing conditions. And what I do encourage you to do is follow some of our social media activity, because you will see some of these batteries that are completely covered in snow and still operating at 100%. We have a 10 years worry-free used warranty with IP66 rating. Now, you see many batteries on the market, and this is where I think now installers are starting to become savvy. Rather than listening to a sales rep like myself and hearing all these cool fandangle USPs, I really encourage you to start looking at warranties, because it's actually alarming what's going on in this industry right now. There's a lot of battery brands that state that they're IP66, but it will fail its warranty if it doesn't have a water canopy put over the specific battery brand. There's certain things in warranties at the moment where certain batteries will void the warranty if you've installed it under 30 miles to a coastal line, which is ludicrous. We are an island covered and surrounded by water. So first of all, IP66, you don't need the water canopy. It is one of the most protected battery brands that we've put into the market. We have shot at it as Americans. We have put fireworks on it, driven over it, putting it into a frozen commercial container. It has literally endured X, which is the extreme. Now, the biggest thing, going back to batteries being installed outside, this is where I think we are the absolute game changer in the industry currently to date. As mentioned, we are an island covered and surrounded by water. And again, if you do depth dives of a warranty research, batteries are not a regulation to be put outside, but they are a guidance. But I am firmly secure in the fact that they will become a regulation eventually. And so we thought ahead and outside the box. So for us, we are the only battery globally that has a C5 anti-corrosion rating. Now, to put that into example, you can install this product 300 meters from a coastal line. What I would suggest is anything under 300 meters, we then advise as a company that you should have it in a protective casing. So something like a Schneider. But what I will just say to you is every quarter, because we have 50% of our staff work in research and development, we are constantly getting them to push the boundaries even more to reduce that level as time goes on. Now, C5 rating is basically 90 hours of supreme CAS testing, and that eliminates the corrosion concerns. If you look at some of the batteries on the market at the moment, they will say you can't install under 2,000 meters, otherwise the warranty is void. So I would really look into that. We did have Corey from OY Electrical. If any of you have followed us on social media, he went outside the box and went a bit rogue and actually installed it 30 centimeters from the water, which was not allowed. But it was all for an experiment, and it does function very well, but it has got it in a protective casing. So again, if you need any support with specific projects, reach out to myself or Ian, and we can help you. Now, commissioning, installation, 3 doors that people look at as installers when they're buying a product. First of all, making sure the price point is healthy. I think we've covered that. The price point is lucrative in this industry, but also we don't display pricing, we protect your margin. Second of all, the installation, and thirdly, the commissioning and aftercare on technical support. So let's do the second. The second is the installation. So take this picture of these 2 very clean installers, and they are installing currently a power module single phase at 19 kg with 2 battery modules at 51 kg. Now, they're actually doing this as a wall-mounted system, and we will tell you exactly what's in the box very shortly. But that installation, in terms of getting it out the box from start to finish, walls, brackets in the walls, built the system, it takes 20 minutes to connect, okay? In terms of commissioning time, our commissioning time is between 5 and 15 minutes. And we base that mostly on if you need to push a firmware update, then it will take a bit longer and it will prompt you in which to do so. But we have tried to eliminate those 4-5 hour wait commissioning times and making sure that really, if you had this streamed and sewn up, you could, as an installer, which we have done with many companies, done 2 installs per day. We have a really fast commissioning process, as mentioned. So we have 4 steps, 4 windows. So the auto recognition, the auto assigned grid codes, advanced self-diagnostics, and the optimal performance. So let's go into what the platform of easy maintenance does. So this is remote smart management. So it gives the 100% device data upload rate, and it achieves localized processing and establishes allowing real-time monitoring. So on our system, on the actual inverter itself, the power module, it shows you the daily generation. On the application, it shows you the live generation. We have easy to read graphs, which gain a smart, comprehensive review, and you can do that through daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly intervals. Now, this is absolutely perfect because when you have those quieter periods, once we get out of Q4 and Q3 and it starts dying down into Q4 in those winter months, it allows you to monitor those summer clients and go, look, Mary has had, I always say Mary for some reason, Mary or Joan. Mary has had a 10 kilowatt hour battery. She's had it for 90 days. She's reached maximum capacity by 11 o'clock in the morning, 65 out of 90 days. Let's call her up. Let's show her the stats. She can see them herself. Let's quote her accordingly for an extra battery module. And you are going back for a quick retaining client. False detection, as mentioned with the abnormalities, we can literally do a depth dive into every single component of our system. And that will identify any anomalies thanks to the modular layout, reducing the amount of troubleshooting time. And then finally, remote diagnosis. So we as a team can adjust device parameters remotely, and it will reduce the operational and maintenance costs. Just another click. Now, training, education. I hear all too often that people buy a battery from any distributor without any form of training, and a lot of them just wing it. And I don't believe in that at all. We are very much a closed book when it comes to education. We want to make sure that you basically have the tools in place to support you for that install. So let me give you an example of what that looks like. So following on from this webinar today, sorry, if we can just go back one. Following on from this webinar today, what we do is we have the Anker Solix Academy. You will all be sent out an Anker Solix Academy training link. Now, the training takes between an hour to an hour and a half over various modules. I'm really blunt. I always say, if you cannot be bothered to do it, then you're probably not the right installer for us. But what that does is it sets you up with all the tools in terms of different schematic scenarios, single phase systems, 3-phase systems, parallel systems, EV charger. It literally is the Bible for our brand. What we also then do is we looked outside the box. I don't like a 0800 number. I don't agree with sending an email to a manufacturer and waiting for 72 hours on a ticket response, a generic email. Again, it goes back to lack of customer service. So from day one, when you are ready to do your first install, you get assigned an account manager, someone like Ian. Those account managers have been solar installers themselves. They have seen the ups and downs, the peaks and the troughs of any long time commissioning or not getting through to manufacturers. We want you to have a dedicated account manager for technical support. The only time that you won't hear from someone like Ian or someone throughout our team is when they're going on holiday and they notify you a week before and they say, this is the person who's going to be running your account. And then you build that relationship with that person. We also make it compulsory and put it out there to everyone that we offer live on-site support. Now, that is refreshing to me because, first of all, we can look at a YouTube video, we can do an Anker Academy training online, but you can't beat the actual live on-site support. Those silly questions, big or small, that you may ask along the way, but you don't want to wait in a 45-minute queue time for a call for that question. So People like myself, people like Ian, people from my wider team will come and attend. If you let us know when your first install is and your location, we will attend. What we will do is we will make sure that we hold your hand along the way. We reassure you with the questions that you ask. We won't do the job for you, but we will make sure it's done efficiently and that you are reassured so we can get you down to the pub quicker. It's as simple as that. And then finally, we also believe as a business that we hear all too often that you get calls and emails following on from a weekend from end users that go, I don't know what that's doing to my app, or what does that mean, or how do I change this, or how do I change that? That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to install our products sufficiently, professionally. The aftercare is for us to deal with. We have sat with customer service globally for the last 5 years at 99.2%. So we have a separate support center and phone line, not just for you as the installers, but for those questions that the homeowners might need to ask over the weekend or late at night and they're hounding your phone with an email or a text. That's for us to deal with. We do loads of retail events along the year, and across the year, what we do is we do effortless product showcasing for retail displays. We also are a very much an open door. What we like to do is we like to collect all the information every 6 months from our installers. We don't call our installers, we actually call them Anker ambassadors because you're a representation on us as a brand. But what we like to do is we actually want to hear what you like about our product, what you don't like about our product. What do you think we could innovate for the next generation? We hear all too often that you make recommendations to manufacturers, they listen, they don't do anything about it. You are the people that are going to continue to be loyal to us, so we need to be loyal to you. Another thing that we do as a business is I am the top of that chain. I sell to distributions like Segen, and then you are the last point of sale. You are the one selling to the end user. Why should you not be rewarded to be loyal to us as a business? So we have different price structures in place, but we like to give physical cash rebates back to you as in the installers for the work that you are doing for us. So to give you an example of one testing product is we do a 5% physical cash rebate on a quarterly basis. And that is based on you doing 15 installs over a quarter, so 5 installs a month. But we do have different ones for different tariffs and different rebates. We'll put that all into an email for you, and you can reach out to any of your Segen sales reps, and they will be able to support you also in all of those rebate structures. So let's do a solution overview. I went to IKEA the other day, and when I went to IKEA, I had to pick up a temporary table. It's a long story. I'm ordering one from Germany. It's very long. But when I go to IKEA, everything is in the box as standard. It absolutely pains me to this day where you order products and then you have to also buy component A, B, C, D, E, and things may get lost in distribution on transit. Just happens. We've tried to eliminate that. So everything is in our box as standard. So you have the side grille covers, the floor stand and the wall brackets. The wiring is cut to exact length. The power sensor, the CT clamp, the dongle. I don't think I've missed anything else out of that, have I, Ian? The only 2 things that you will require and reach out to your distributor if you need any additional components are, 1, if you are running a parallel system and you need a top cover. 2, if you are deciding if you're in a flood location or just for a design aspect and you want your system to be wall mounted, then you have to request for wall mounted brackets. And 3, if you are doing any off-grid projects and you require a 4G dongle, we have that as an additional extra. The 4G dongle has a paid SIM card built in for 5 years. They are the only additional options that you require. But for your average residential day-to-day grind, you literally have to go click on Segen for a 3.68, 5 or 6, click the amount of battery modules, and it is done for you. It's as simple as that. let's give you some scenario solution design. So this is all going to be sent over to you later on, and it's all on your Anker Academy. So we will show you very simple structured designs on, say, the single system that we've got here, where you have your typical Anker Solix 15 kilowatt hours with your power module, and then to the left or to the right, whatever way suits, you can have your stackables of more storage. Just so you know, you have to have a 300mm clearance between the next stack of batteries. There has to be a clearance on either side and a clearance up the top. No clearance is required in the front of the battery. And the only reason why we say you need a 300mm clearance is because you actually need to get a screwdriver in. And we've had that issue before where it was a little bit complicated and we had to find a very small screwdriver to sort it out. Next scenario. So we also do the third-party PV system. As you and I both know, it's called the retrofit. So, you know, if you've got that existing solar system with that existing Solus inverter and you want to connect it into a battery storage, but want to still keep that Solus inverter or that good old Sunny Boy or SMA, then those are the sort of projects and scenarios that we can also equip for. We also do battery storage only. We see this often happen all too often now. You know, in the areas that I live, it's conservation area. So there's restrictions in a lot of properties where you can have solar. So with that in mind, or, you know, you're in properties that, you know, maybe terraced houses don't have a great roof space. If people wanted to obtain and be part of dynamic tariffs, such as Octopus, where we are fully integrated, then you could look to the energy storage system only. We do the off-grid scenario, as mentioned, with the 4G dongle. And then we also show the activation of how you integrate heat pumps. So as mentioned, so long as the heat pump has an SG-ready code, like Nube, Valent, Weissman, Mitsubishi, Daikin, it will fall under our Anker System app. If it doesn't have an SG-ready code, it will still operate and function alongside our Anker System. It just will not showcase under our ecosystem app. Power sensor, we've got all the diagrams to show you how to do a CT clamp right through to a hardline wired power sensor, which come as standard in the box. And that is Anker Solix Live-in Power. Now, what I will also just suggest to you as well is we also will, and we have created a step-by-step guide, which is specifically and solely for Segen clients. And that is through an Anker ambassador, Jamie, who installs our product practically every day. I think it's his go-to product, and it breaks it down. It even breaks it down when you're meant to take your tea break. So, you know, you're all aligned, but it's a really easy video to watch. Now, in this call today, I am joined with Catherine and Matthew, who are the directors of Leaping Hair Renewables. And I met them at Solar and Storage XL. I think it's April. I'm getting lost with where I am in this country now. And basically, I just want them to give an overview on, and just be reassuring clients really on how their experiences have been with Anker. And yeah, fire away, guys.
Well, you're the standout product at the show. It's at Solar and Storage at EdXL. We went there kind of wanting to expand our products and had a really good look round. You weren't the product we were expecting to kind of come away thinking that would be our lead product, but you are now the product we lead with in all our quoting. It's interesting because there was a lot of tryhards at that show. Everyone was trying really hard. And then we kind of came around the corner. We actually got sent over to see you by Suman at Segen. And we came around the corner and kind of met you guys. And it was almost like you didn't really have to try to sell this product. It was selling itself. Not that you don't do a brilliant job, Aaron, obviously.
Don't say that, they won't pay me.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I know. I gave Matt a Coca-Cola.
But that's because you had a portable fridge. So the look of the product and its sleekness, it just felt like it was what we were kind of missing. There was a product we were kind of leading with, which is a similar price point, maybe slightly lower, but this product just wipes that out for us completely. not mentioning any names, but really Anker and Tesla are the two products we install now.
Yeah, I mean,
they meet every kind of demand in the market that we need, really.
I mean, just out of interest from your side, I mean, for people that don't know, you're based in Norfolk and the surrounding areas.
Yeah.
So, like, you are very much coastal line at its most. So, like, just, you know, what do you think the benefits of the USPs of our product? Do you think this is going to suit your market? You've seen some trends with corrosion in some other brands.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. Yeah, it's interesting. It's quite picturesque where we live. The installation of canopies, which we had to do with pretty much every product, time-consuming, extra cost, ugly. I build sheds at the weekend and going back and install them for people. We had a lot of IP failures on certain products, no fault of our own. It's manufacturer warranty, but RMAs took forever and took up a lot of our time as well. And it's bad for business for us because it looks bad. So the corrosion protection, the slim design of the kit,
integration with heat pumps,
the ability to get it down small gaps because we can break it down.
The difference in terms of installation that the modular,
it's huge.
The modular style makes. So I mean, it will be our go-to battery. Yeah. That's it, and that's for the team on site as well.
I suppose for us as well. Sorry, it's just I suppose for us as well. So obviously you saw us at the show. You thought I always say, and I say this to every new installer, we only get one opportunity with you. If you do not if we don't give you the best customer service and technical support, the best overall service of being able to pick up to a normal human being, then you're just not going to buy from us again. It's as simple as that. So after we met you at the show, and I think I had one too many wines after that session, but you then took the plunge and you then purchased and then you done an install. What happened from your install? Talk me through how that went seamlessly. Any questions? How did that go? Because you are the technical person, Matt.
Yeah, so the install perspective, so firstly you do the training. That doesn't take too long. It's in depth. There's loads of information. The manual's clear. We contacted you. Mr. Moody drove up from Essex all the way up to Norfolk, which isn't too far in fairness, but he did come up.
Moody with jazz hands.
I suppose a bit of a spectator sport from his perspective at that point because we were in a garage and everything was straightforward.
Yeah.
But he was there, hugely grateful. It's deeply reassuring from a customer perspective as well because I didn't know the app. We're not familiar with it. You're doing it for the first time. It was easy, and we had to limit the export there, and the firmware needed updating a week later. I just sat in the office and contacted Ian and said that's not right, something's odd, and he spoke to the R&D department, and that was resolved the same day, easy peasy. So we just used our common sense between us, to be honest with you. So from my perspective, anyone that installs certain products will get very familiar with the hold song that you get. It almost gives you PTSD because you think we've just lost a day. We're going to lose a day. We're losing money, and that's the bottom line. And actually the products, so from my perspective, the products that appear cheaper, well, we have to put the price up anyway, because if we're going to install that kit, other brands, then we can expect to have to go back, or we're going to have to expect to be faffing around chasing RMAs. So we were really keen to find something, particularly from the field perspective, that A, went in and worked and was straightforward and simple, and the commissioning app is quick, and B, that I knew that I could train other people to install without them becoming some sort of guru on the intricacies of how something doesn't work.
Yeah.
So for us, it's massive. The other thing from a technical perspective is we can manhandle this kit in. So, we got a second-year female apprentice. She can move the battery packs. Now, when we're trying to get down the side of rural houses, or if we're trying to get down the side of houses, even new build estates, even with a power dolly, with the big old Tesla Powerwall 3, physically, sometimes we can't get in. and they are
Yeah.
very, very heavy bits of kit. So
We'd rather not install them.
yeah.
Yeah.
To be honest.
So I like the technology.
Yeah.
They work. The
Yeah.
technology works. They're very well proven, but they are very. I think they're well suited for going outside of garages in America and along with big concrete drives. We don't have concrete drives. We have lots of gravel, and it just doesn't work for us. They're good kit. It just geographically not brilliant for us. And I think the simplicity of the kit as well.
The support we've had as well.
Yeah.
The support and relationship to just get answers to those questions as we go along has been brilliant.
I mean, I think
electrician.
I always mention a lot of wine in the process, but I think after Ian had been, I think you supplied him with a nice lunch, actually, if I remember.
Yes,
I don't think we've actually had any wine yet.
No, but I think I had a wine whilst I was I must have been in another part of Germany. I think I was at Munich, and I did call you up just to see what you, after Ian had been, what you felt of the overall experience as well. Just to reassure you, and I'm desperate to get out to an actual install with you in the summer. So, and I mean, I think for us, that's what we want to do. We want to, it's not a quantity of installers. We want a quality.
Yeah.
And we want to put it in the hands of the right people that actually care about this industry.
And the thing is with the SG Ready for us as well, that's explaining, because we're not just electrical, we're mechanical. So we're electrical, we're solar and storage. We're heat because we do not just refrigeration, but we also do air conditioning, but we do air source heat pumps as well. So we want to offer a holistic product that works with everything else.
And if the customers want something, and increasingly the complexities of these installs in terms of getting everything to work within an ecosystem in the house, I think that's going to be a growth in terms of one install and making sure everything ticks along. So this fits into that jigsaw for us. It slots in really nicely.
So if we can have a battery and a battery management system and an app and an EV charger that are in the same ecosystem, that's a massive box tick.
Very excited about it. I've got pre-orders on the EV charger.
Oh, I love this already.
If we can then send surplus generation into the air source heat pump, we can now remove the need for solar diverters. We can heat water instead of 1-to-1 at 300-400% efficiency. And more importantly, for the sustainability for the customers, it's something they can use. The app is easy. We've got a massive issue with some of the technology being too complicated for the end users. And I think even the limitations
too much sometimes. I think they see far too much than they need to.
It is.
So,
and that sustainability means that they can operate it themselves without a million questions, getting confused, blah, 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 blah. And the fact that we can put a dongle in it for us is massive, because sometimes the kit we're installing is a long way from the household Wi-Fi, full stop. And Wi-Fi used to be the bane of our lives.
Yes. Well, listen, thank you very much, Matthew and Catherine.
You're
and
welcome.
for those who don't know, we are also supporting Segen at the Installer Show. And Catherine is actually going to be on MCS.
I am on the MCS panel for thermal energy store systems.
And what day have we got that at Installer Show?
That's on Thursday. So
if anyone's going, please do go and see. Now, we are running out of time, but I just want to go through some of the questions. So we had Ellie asking, what is the favourite feature of the X1? I suppose for me, I think because I lived through a coastal line property myself, it would be the C5. But I also love how slim it looks. And I know it sounds terrible to say this, but I would probably call it the Love Island of batteries at the moment. But that's just me. Then we had Lewis, who said, can the 6 kilowatt inverter limit the export? And it's answered that. And he also said, would we be prepared to travel to the Shetland Islands? And yes, I haven't been there, so I would like to go. Do these sit on legs, or is there wall brackets in place? I know you've responded to some of these, Ian, but just to read them out to everyone, it's just sitting on a floor stand. And then you have brackets to the wall. There are slight movements. What do we call them? Shims, those ones. And then obviously you have the wall brackets as well. But again, Stephen, these are the sort of questions that we always love, because you are going to be the next generation of changing our next generation of battery. So we want to hear all this.
Yes to the answer to the next one, Aaron.
And yes to the answer of next one to the off-grid. Unfortunately,
Can I say something as well?
go for it.
Customers love, and I thought it was a bit gimmicky at first, they love the fact they can walk past and it tells them what's going on.
I know. So
They
yes,
love it. At first you think, oh, I thought, well, that's a bit gimmicky. And then I found myself after the install going past, oh, that's good.
yeah.
And literally we had one issue which was resolved, it was just firmware. It was, oh, the display's not working, not even going into their apps.
Yeah.
They just want it that simple, and it works. That works for people.
I think the thing is as well, you see so many batteries on the market at the moment that have a screen display, but the screen display is lit up 365 days a year for the length of the warranty. So it defeats the whole object of trying to be energy efficient. So we designed it with 3 lights, like you said, motion sensor, even it lights up if my Chihuahua walked past. Typical, I've got a Chihuahua. But anyway, blue light, it will tell you when solar is being stored into the grid, into the battery. White light is your tariff rates and functionality on and off selling. And then you've got the red light for Storm Guard, which you can just at the press of a button with the rapid battery charge. So yeah, I think you are quite right. There's loads of cool features. It's really
people love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah. It's a good looking bit of kit.
Yeah.
And when it's installed, like when you're used to putting all the other stuff, compared to what else is on the market, it's just so discreet.
Yeah.
I mean, the other kit we've installed, it all functions, it works, although a lot of it's going to corrode around here. But it's just tidy looking. It looks tidy.
Yeah.
It's not in your face. It's so much better. So.
Well, listen, guys, you have been phenomenal. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And listen, everyone, you're going to be sent a thank you email, because taking time out of your business on a Thursday means a lot to me. It means a lot to Segen. And obviously, Leaping Hair, you've been superstars. We will do regular webinars with Segen, so watch this space. And I will be at the installer show with my entire team. So should you be there and want to ask any questions, just come to the Segen stand. That's what we're here to help for.